As you can see on our screen, there is a refrigeration system or storage of uh, vaccine. So this is used during the pandemic. So the temperature here is ultra low temperature. So during pandemic, UNICEF is supporting countries for COVID-19 vaccine rollout. So in 2021, UNICEF delivered 800 ultra cold chain freezers to nearly 70 countries with a storage capacity of 200 million RNA vaccine. So how they did it is because of good refrigeration systems. So they use ultra low refrigeration system. This type of refrigeration system is what we call the cascade system. Since in order to achieve this, we have to use this refrigeration system that can handle very low, ultra low temperatures. So what is cascade refrigeration systems? So it is a type of refrigeration system in which two systems are independent. So one of the systems, the lower temperature system, uses a heat exchanger as a condenser, which is responsible for expelling the heat that accumulates in it. So later on, meron tayong detailed explanation how this system works and how refrigerant are used for ultra low or low temperature applications. So in other words, yung cascade system is dalawang system siya na independent. So ibig sabihin, it means that so it is a freezing system that uses two kinds of refrigerant having different boiling points which run through their own independent freezing cycle and are joined together by heat exchanger. So more complicated than any other refrigeration system since it uses two refrigerant. Okay, so ay, sorry. Okay. Yeah, this is, as you can see on our screen, this is another example of ultra cold chain freezers delivered by UNICEF to Ukraine to increase capacity to receive, store and distribute large quantities of COVID-19 vaccines. So it requires ultra low, ultra cold storage. Yan. So in this type of freezer, it uses two independent system or two refrigerant in order to achieve the ultra low temperature. Okay, so our objectives for today, first is define cascade refrigeration systems, concepts and application, differentiate cold cascade and direct contact cascade refrigeration systems, solve problems involving cascade refrigeration systems. So that's our objective for today. Okay, so cascade systems, as I have said, uses one refrigerant to condense the other primary refrigerant that is operating at desired evaporator temperature. Ibig sabihin, so it means that it uses more than one refrigerant. Okay. So this approach is usually used for temperature levels less than negative 80 degree Fahrenheit when light hydrocarbon gases or other low boiling gases and vapors are being cooled. So to obtain the highest overall efficiency for the system, the refrigerants for the two superimposed systems are different. So, okay, so this figure is a typical cascade low temperature refinery refrigeration cycle. Yan. So, ito yung typical na process flow ng cascade low temperature refrigeration cycle. So as you can see, ilan yung compressor dito. We have first stage ethylene compressor, second stage ethylene compressor, and third stage ethylene compressor. As you can see, where is the we have different sets of temperatures. We have negative 160, negative 90, negative 68. So meaning there are different temperature requirement, and every yeah, to achieve that requirement, there are heat exchangers located here. So we have here we can see the shell and coil liquid cooler, flash liquid cooler, ethylene evaporator. So alongside with compressors are heat exchangers. So let's check if refrigerants here are specified. Walang binigay na hindi naka-specify yung refrigerant dito sa ating process flow, no? So, but yeah, in order to achieve the cascade refrigeration type system, so we have to employ heat exchangers, as you can see here on our sample process flow diagram. So, in order to achieve, for example, negative 135, it has to go first with shell and coil liquid cooler. Okay. So later we have schematic diagram for that. So there are some studies also that applies cascade refrigeration system. I provided here in our module. So first one is the application of cascade refrigeration systems with mixing refrigerant in cold air cutting. So this is published in the International Journal of Modern Physics. So you can also check other studies using that applies this cascade refrigeration system. So in this study, it is a mechanical cutting process. So in the mechanical cutting process, the replacement of traditional cutting solution with cold air can avoid the pollution of environment. So in order to high efficiently refrigerating device and flexible adjust the temperature of the cold air, it is necessary to use cascade refrigeration system to supply cold quantity for the compressed air. So the introduction of a two-component non-azeotropic mixing refrigerant into the cryogenic part of the cascade system can effectively solve the problems of the system working at too high pressure at the volume expanding of refrigerant in case of the cascade refrigeration sets closed down. So yun, in this study, they use a two-component non-azeotropic mixing refrigerant into the cryogenic part of the cascade system to solve the problems of the system working at too high pressure. Last week we discussed about intercooler, so it is also related to that since in order to provide to avoid too much high pressure, uh, we employ intercooler to lower the work of compressor as well. So this is also one of the uh, importance of cascade. So to avoid the burnout of compressor. So yeah, cascade system is still related to our previous discussions. It is part of multi-pressure system. Okay, so the what is cascade refrigeration system? So as you can see here on our diagram, we uses two different refrigerant R134A and R22. So the cascade refrigeration system is a freezing system that uses two kinds of refrigerant having different boiling points. So if we, for example, we require a very low, ultra low temperature, so we will use refrigerant that can handle that temperature. So we will use, for example, R22. On the other hand, if the temperature is not requirement is not too high, we can use R134A or too low rather. So we can use R134A. So this is the schematic view and pH diagram of these systems as shown. So they are joined by, you can see there is a one, actually these are two vapor compression refrigeration system that are combined by a heat exchanger. So dalawang system siya na kinombine ng heat exchanger as you can see here. So we have two kinds of refrigerants, R134 and R22. They have different boiling points and they run through their own independent freezing cycle. So they are joined together by a heat exchanger. So the heat coming from the refrigerant R22 is absorbed by the refrigerant R134A. So the system is employed to obtain the temperatures of -40 to -80 or ultra low temperatures lower than them. So at such low temperatures, a common single refrigerant two-stage compression system limits the low temperature characteristics of refrigerant to a considerably poor level. And so if we will apply just a single refrigerant two-stage compression system, it will limit the low temperature characteristics of refrigerant to a considerably poor level. So that's why we need to use two refrigerants here in order to achieve the ultra low temperature. So also the efficiency is being improved by combining the two kinds of refrigerant having different temperature characteristics. So since there is a heat transfer here in the heat exchanger, so the efficiency of the system will increase. Okay, so this system has the following advantages compared to a two-stage compression system. So first one, energy is saved because the system allows use refrigerants that have suitable temperature characteristics for each of the higher temperature side and the lower temperature side. So next, it allows stable ultra-low temperature operation, and then the running cost is inexpensive and repair is easy. So in cascade refrigeration system, the higher temperature side uses a normally used refrigerant R404A, ammonia, and others. So in the lower temperature side uses R23, which is an hydrofluorocarbon refrigerant. So yeah, uh, you will normally use these refrigerants when we are solving sample problems. So R404 and ammonia and others, and R23 for the lower temperature side. Also, in this cascade, we can save energy because the system allows the use of refrigerants that have suitable temperature characteristics, meaning the characteristics of the refrigerants that we use, for example, R404A, is maximized, meaning they are suitable for that system. Okay, so wait lang ha, I'll be back after 2 minutes. Okay, so thank you for waiting. So let's discuss the benefits of a cascade system. So cascade system offers a specific advantages over other cooling methods. So when a cascade system is used, the compression ratio of each system decreases. So volumetric efficiency is therefore increased in each stage by same effect. So the whole system as a whole becomes much more efficient. So at the same time, it should be noted that the cooling system also requires less compressor displacement. Okay, so as we solve sample problems, we will realize these advantages of cascade system. So we will notice that volumetric efficiency is increased in each stage, and yeah, the whole system becomes much more efficient. So furthermore, the discharge temperature in the cascade system is lower than a single stage system. So this effect is advantageous for lubrication and oil temperature. So it should also be noted that high pressure refrigerants are also used in cascade refrigeration systems. So if we use high pressure refrigerant, it causes the suction pressure to reach positive values. So this means that this type of system does not need to work in a vacuum, even in cases where saturated suction temperature is quite low. So yeah, as I have said, when we use the correct or right refrigerant, as what we are doing in the cascade system, so it causes the suction pressure to reach positive values. So in this case, we will avoid the burnout of compressors. So because we don't have to the compressors that no need to work in a vacuum where the suction pressure temperature is quite low. Okay. Just to add, so there are some precautions in cascade system. So a number of precautions should be taken when using a cascade system. So the first to bear in mind is that this system has a certain application limits. So meron din siyang limitations. So dapat ma-monitor natin yung lubrication condition ng system natin. So it is also necessary to check that no liquid is being sucked into the system. Yeah, that's what we are doing previously. So we are avoiding the liquid to be being sucked in the system. So in the case of low temperature systems, it must be ensured that the return gas temperature does not fall below -60. So this is important in order not to damage the cast iron compressor. So it is also advisable to monitor the oil temperature so that it has the correct viscosity level. So what I am mentioning is just an operating precautions. So yeah, just on operating precautions when we are applying cascade system. So with respect to the oil, there must also be high efficiency and well-dimensioned oil separator. It should be noted that if it does not return, it is very likely that de-icing cycles will be necessary to increase suction pressure and mass flow. Okay, so yan yung mga precautions ng cascade systems. Just for additional information. So, in summary, kailangan natin i-check yung lubrication natin. yung lubrication condition. So we have to monitor the lubrication condition of the system. Okay, so another study you can refer, this is from Purdue University, design of a cascade refrigeration system for CO2 for applications below negative 50 degrees Celsius using CO2 sublimation. So yeah, you can also refer to this study, and abstract lang yung nilagay ko dito, no? So but you can search it on this website shown here. So in this study, in this design of cascade refrigeration system, they use the CO2 sublimation. So within the present paper, the design of a CO2 sublimation refrigeration system is introduced. So different variations of CO2 cycles were theoretically investigated and compared the baseline R23. So here, R23 is the refrigerant used in this cascade system. So for CO2 sublimation, a two-stage compression with intercooling is used, as well as an internal heat exchanger. So the design of this cascade refrigeration machine is currently used for building up demonstrator to prove the concept of experimental. So you can use this as a reference when you are working. If some of you do not have a topic yet for your thesis, so you can refer in this to this study. So for our problem solving, we will use this reference, Refrigeration and Air Conditioning, third edition by Santa Maria. Okay, so a cascade system combines two vapor compression units, one with a condenser of the lower temperature discharging its heat to the evaporator of the high temperature system. So two two vapor compression system siya na pinag-combine with a heat exchanger. Cascade systems can normally furnish refrigeration down to negative 100 degrees Celsius. So there are two types of cascade. Okay, we have closed cascade condenser and direct contact heat exchanger. So please remember these two types. We have closed cascade condenser and direct contact heat exchanger. So in a closed cascade condenser, fluids in the high pressure and low pressure system may be different. While in the direct contact heat exchanger, the same fluid is used through the systems. So direct contact heat exchanger type is most commonly used. So what's the difference between the closed condenser, closed cascade condenser, and direct contact heat exchanger? So ano yung pinagkaiba ng dalawa? Yan. Unahin natin yung closed cascade condenser. So yeah, this is the diagram of a closed cascade condenser. Yan. Okay. So we have mass flow rate of refrigerant in the low temperature unit. Okay. Okay, so we have here we have the typical four basic types. We have low stage compressor, then going to This is cascade condenser. Yan, cascade condenser. And then do the expansion valve and then evaporator. So this cascade condenser exchanges heat. So the heat coming from the R22 is being absorbed by the R134A. So two refrigerants moving in two different uh, systems. So there is a closed system, two closed system. Uh, two closed system siya. So nagkakaroon lang ng heat transfer dito sa cascade condenser. So the heat coming from the R22 is being absorbed by the R134A. But there is no connection between these two systems, except for that heat exchanger or condenser. So they have different mass flow rate. Mass flow rate of R22 is different from this R134A. So if we will draw a schematic diagram for this, we will have two schematic diagram. One for the low temperature system and another for high temperature system. So just a combination of two systems, two independent systems. Yeah. So the difference is that we employ a cascade condenser here. This is to increase the efficiency of the refrigerant moving here, the R134A and R22 as well. So we have some equations here with regards to mass flow rate of refrigerant. So we are familiar with this. If we are given the refrigerating load in kilowatt, we can determine the mass flow rate by dividing the refrigerating effect in kilowatt by the enthalpy. So the unit will be in kilogram per second. Next one is mass flow rate of refrigerant in high temperature unit. Okay, so here we will have a mass balance here at the cascade condenser. Okay, so we have mass balance here. So we have the heat coming in are mm, what are the heat inputs? Heat coming in are M1 H2. Mass flow rate 1 is equal to mass flow rate 2. So M1 H2 and M5 H8. So this is the mass flow rate coming into the system. Coming out of the system is M1H3 plus M5H5. Yan. M5H5 tsaka M1H3. Yan yung lumalabas sa system. So just by mass balance, we can determine the mass flow rate. Next, we have power of the low pressure compressor. So the low pressure compressor is here. So the power is mass flow rate times H2 minus H1. For the high pressure compressor, the power is mass flow rate, which is M5 multiplied by H6 minus H5. So common formula. And then if we want to use to determine the total compressor power, we just have to add these two work of compressors. Okay? Do you have any questions so far? Walang question? So let's proceed. Yeah. How about direct contact? So this is the closed cascade, right? So as you can see, there is a closed loop. Well, how about the direct contact? In direct contact, we only have one enthalpy diagram, a pH diagram, sorry. So we only have pH diagram, while in the direct contact, we have two separate pH diagram. Okay, so in direct contact cascade condenser, we have we will employ what we have learned last time using this intermediate pressure. So since we have only one pH diagram and we will employ this intermediate pressure. So intermediate pressure per minimum work P2 equals square root of P1 P6. So P1 P6. Kunin lang natin yung saturated pressure at two conditions and then square root. So we have P2, now P2. Okay. So what have you noticed in this cascade refrigeration system compared to this direct contact compared sa close? Anong napansin nyo? In direct contact, we have two refrigerants, R134 and R22. While in direct contact, we only have one refrigerant, which is R134A. But they have this direct contact cascade condenser. So just like an intercooler operating here, so there are exchanges of heat. Okay, let's trace the movement of refrigerant from point 1 coming from the evaporator going to compressor. So it will come out as point 2, state point 2, and then it will go inside the direct contact condenser. So the liquid part will condense. In the condenser, the liquid will come out at state point 3, and then enter at expansion valve, and then going to evaporator again. This is at liquid state, while the vapor will come out of the direct contact cascade condenser, and then uh, it will enter the high stage compressor now, and then coming out and enter at condenser. So there are two states of refrigerant coming in and out of the direct contact condenser. So coming out and going to high stage compressor is vapor state, and then coming out and entering at the expansion valve is the liquid state. So by mass balance, we can do that as well in the direct contact cascade condenser. So we have M5H5 plus M3H3. So yun yung lumalabas. Those are the mass flow rate coming out or energy coming out of the system. So coming in of the system is M8H8, M8H8 plus M2H2. Okay, so M3 is equivalent to M1, and then M8 is also equivalent to M5. M2 is equivalent to M1. So we can determine the mass flow rate now by just using these equations. So just by energy balance. Okay. So for low temperature system, note that M1 equals M2 equals M3 is equal to M4. And for high temperature system, we have M5 equals M6 equals M7 equals M8. Okay. So let us have some example. A cascade refrigeration system uses refrigerant 22 in the low temperature unit and refrigerant 12 in the high temperature unit. The system develops 28 kilowatt of refrigeration at negative 40 degrees Celsius. So the refrigerant 12 system operates at negative 10 degree overlap of temperature in the cascade condenser. Calculate the mass flow rate of refrigerant 22. Nilagay ko na pala yung yung final answer dito. I-double check natin. So first, calculate the mass flow rate of refrigerant 22, the mass flow rate of refrigerant 12, power required by refrigerant 22, and power required by refrigerant 12. Okay, so can you try this on your notebook? I already provided the final answer here, so you will just have to verify it. Yes, this one. So the power required by refrigerant 12 is almost the same as the power required by refrigerant 22. May konti lang difference. Yan. Pakitry nito. Then we will discuss after 10 minutes. By the way, this is closed loop because we use two refrigerant here, R22 and R12. So pakitry muna nito. We'll discuss after 5 minutes. Yes, my question? Sino nag-raise ng hand?
Napindot lang po, sir.
Okay. Okay, so let us discuss. Please check if your solution is correct. So this is the closed type cascade closed cascade condenser. We have R12 for the refrigerant 1 is R12 and R22 is refrigerant 2. So for high pressure condenser we have R12 and for low pressure evaporator we have R22. So the temperature requirement at high pressure condenser is 38 while at evaporator is negative 40. And then we have 0 degrees. Binanggit ba sa problem yung 0? Hindi, no? Pero binanggit yung negative 10. So the refrigerant 12 operates at negative 10. So negative 10 yan. R12, so negative 10, yung kanyang evaporator temperature. While yung ating R22 is negative 40. So by using two different refrigerant, we can maximize its characteristics. So since R22 have lower boiling point, this is suitable for this application. So yeah, that's why we use the different refrigerant to achieve the maximum efficiency using the correct refrigerant. So imagine if we use R12 in the whole system, we cannot achieve the cooling effect that we want to achieve. So that's why we use two types of refrigerant because they have two different characteristics. For low temperature, we use R22 because it has lower boiling point compared to R12. Okay. Okay, so we have two closed systems. So big sabihin, it means that we will use we will apply two two pH diagram here, one for R22 and one for R12. Okay, the solution is already here, so we just have to study to analyze it. So just a simple vapor, imagine a simple vapor compression system. So yun lang yung closed loop. I think it's easier to calculate to solve because we will only use two vapor compression systems, two standard vapor compression systems. Okay, so first one, we have to determine the mass flow rate. However, the first thing to do is to determine first the properties or the enthalpies, and then we can now solve for the mass flow rate. So using R22, I think you are provided with table for R22. You can check on, yes, meron ba? May R22 ba? Yes, Jerome.
Sir, question lang po, paano po nag-come up dun sa temperature ng ano, ng yung 0 degrees Celsius po?
Ah, given siya dapat sa problem, yung 0 degrees. Dito, given siya actually dapat. Check natin. Pero yan, hindi naman siya binigay dito, no? So, pero hindi natin isosolve yung temperature here. We will, we will, it is usually given. But if we look at the properties, meron ba tayong property na pwedeng pag-referan ng 0 degrees? Given, ang R22 is -40, no? Aside from -40, wala nang ibinigay na temperature. Yeah, given siya. Given siya. Hindi natin masosolve, I think, kung hindi siya given, yung 0. Okay? Di lang nabanggit dito sa problem. Okay na? Okay na po.
Yes po, sir. Thank you po.
Okay. Yeah, so we are very familiar with solving the mass flow rate. Kunin nyo lang yung power required, which is 22 kilowatt. I-divide natin to divide it by the refrigerating effect in enthalpy form. So you have H1, which is Hg at -40. So here, it's saturated vapor. And H4 is here. H4 equals H3 equals Hf at 0 degrees, which is 200. So yeah, we will get this mass flow rate, 0.1485. So this is same as this value here. Next one, for refrigerant 12, by the way, we are asked to determine mass flow rate of refrigerant 22, mass flow rate of refrigerant 12, and power required. This is power required by compressor at two refrigerants, refrigerant 12 and refrigerant 22. So we already have refrigerant 22 mass flow rate. Next one is refrigerant 12. So this is a separate cycle because we have different refrigerant. So just remember, for closed loop or closed system, you have to apply two different page diagram. Okay, so by using mass balance here at cascade condenser, we can determine what are the energy coming in and coming out of the system. Okay, so coming in of the system is M1H2, then coming out is M1H3. While on the other side, we have coming in is M5H8, coming out is H5M5. Tama ba? So, papasok is M1H2, lalabas is M3, ay M1H3. Tama. Yan. Yan, okay, tama to, no? So, energy balance lang. So, But before that, we have to determine the properties. So check for the value of enthalpy first. So we have H5 equals Hg, saturated vapor at -10. And then we have corresponding saturated pressure here. So we have 347.1 kilojoule per kilogram. Then we have H6, which is a superheated vapor. Superheated vapor. So H at saturated pressure of 914.2 kilopascal and S5 equals S6. So using graph, we can determine the value of H6. Yan. Then H7, gagamitin ba natin yung H7? Yeah, H7 is HF at 914.2 kilopascal. So we have this value. H7 equals also to H8. So HF at 38 degrees is 236.5. Okay, so solving now for mass flow rate. So ang hinahanap natin is M5. Tama ba? M5. Yan. So ito yung walang value, M5. So we have energy balance, M5H5 plus M1H3 equals M5H8 plus M1H2. So M5H5 minus H8 equals M1H2 minus H3. So we have M5 given this enthalpies. So we will get 0.3048 kilogram per second. Yan. Okay. So meron na tayong mass flow rate. So we can now proceed with, by the way, do you have question here? Okay, so let's proceed. Yeah, just calculate the work of compressor. Since we already have all these values, M1 is 0.1485, H2 minus H1, we have 427 minus 388.6. So it is equal to 5.7 kilowatt. While refrigerant 12, we have M5, E6 minus H5 equals 0.3048 multiplied by 372 minus 347.1. So we have 7.59 kilowatt. Okay. So do you have any questions? By the way, parang mali yung nilagay natin kanina dito. 5.7 lang. 5.7 pala to. 5.7. Ito ay 7.59. Yan. Okay. Yeah. So we have another example here. Yung na-discuss natin previously is a closed loop, and this is closed loop. And then next problem is let's have some cascade. direct contact cascade. So in a certain refrigeration system, for low temperature application, a two-stage compression is desirable, which employs ammonia system that serves a 30-ton evaporator at negative 30 degrees. So the system uses direct contact cascade condenser. As you can see, only one refrigerant is used, which is ammonia. So in this case, we will apply direct contact cascade condenser. So sometimes it is specified on the problem, sometimes not specified, but if you see that there's only one refrigerant, then it's for the cascade, then it is direct contact. So ammonia system employs a 30-ton evaporator at negative 30 degrees. So the system uses a direct contact cascade condenser and the condenser temperature is 40 degrees Celsius. Find the following. A. Sketch the schematic diagram of the system and draw the complete process on the pH diagram. B. Cascade condenser pressure in kilopascal for minimum work. C is mass flow rate in the low and high pressure loops in kilogram per second. And D is the total work. Yeah, so solve for this for okay. So this is the sketch of schematic diagram. Yan. So this is direct contact yan. Ganito yung tsura ng direct contact para same uniform tayo. Ganito na lang gawin yung sketch. Yan. So para siyang cross. Okay? So we have only one refrigerant which is ammonia. And then because of this direct contact heat exchanger, we have an intermediate pressure here. Just like an intercooler. So ganun lang, same lang ng intercooler yung concept. Same concept as intercooler. We have compressors, first stage, low stage, and high stage compressor. So the purpose of this is same as in the intercooler to avoid burnout of the compressor. Okay? Please try to solve muna, no? I'll give you 5 minutes to solve. Okay, so let us solve. So given na yung mga parameters. So first is we have to draw the schematic as shown below. When you are solving problems like cascade, any other problems, any refrigeration system problems, please provide two schematics. One is for the pH diagram and one is the schematic. So it also have a points in the exam and problem sets, this diagram. So you have to show it completely. Okay. So what we are going to do first is calculate the intermediate pressure or minimum work. Okay, so first calculate for the intermediate pressure. So square root of P1, P6. P1 yung our low stage pressure or yung evaporator pressure here at 119 kilopascal. And then condenser pressure is the P6 1557. Square root of that is 432 kilopascal. Just like intercooler. So yeah, 432. And then from that, we can now determine the different enthalpies. Ay, sorry, medyo naputol. Wait lang, I'll check for clearer version here. But yeah, you can refer to these properties. Okay, uh, let's continue. So yeah, we already have this enthalpies and H1, so it's saturated vapor at -30. H2 equals superheated vapor at S1 equals S2. So if we refer to pH diagram or sa refrigerant diagram sa graph, so you can determine the value of H. H3 equals H4, so it is a saturated liquid at 432 kilopascal. And then H5 equals Hg at 432 kilopascal. So yan, nandito siya, H5 is Hg at 432 kilopascal. Okay, so yeah, we have to solve for this enthalpies. Then compute for the mass flow rate. So we are given anong given na refrigerating effect? 30 tons of evaporator. 30 tons. So convert nyo lang yung 30 tons sa kilowatt. Tapos i-divide nyo ng enthalpy. Yan, convert it to kilowatt and then divide it by H1 minus H4. So we can get M1, which is equivalent to M2, M3, and M4. So we have 0.864 kilogram per seconds. High pressure loop, M5 equals M6 equals M7 equals M8. So para makuha yung M5, so we have to perform energy balance. So at cascade, direct contact pala at direct contact heat exchanger. So yan. So this is our equation earlier for energy balance. So M5 equals M1. Let's see if we can use this equation. Hmm. Hmm. Yan, ito yung equation natin kanina for energy balance at cascade. Okay? M5H5 plus M3H3 equals M8H8 plus M2H2. So ito lang din yung equation na gagamitin. So we have M5 equals M1, which is H64 times H2 minus H1 over H5 minus H8 equals 0.1129 kilogram per seconds. Okay? So we already have the mass flow rate. So just have to compute for work of compressor. So mass flow rate times H2 minus H1 for the compressor 1. And then for compressor 2, this is for low pressure compressor. H2 minus H1 yung nasa ilalim. Yan, ito. This one. H2 minus H1 and then H6 minus H5 for the high stage compressor. Okay, this one. So we will get 15.31 kilowatt for low stage compressor and then 19.89 kilowatt for high stage compressor using different mass flow rate. M1 for the low pressure and then M5 for the high pressure. So to get the total work, uh, we have to add high pressure compressor and high pressure work of compressor and low pressure work of compressor. So total of 35.20 kilowatt. Okay, so you have any question? Did you understand our discussion today? Cascade refrigeration systems. Okay, so our next meeting will be after the Holy Week, which is April 26. April 26 na tayo, mag-meet na ulit. So, April 26 is online, no? Online ulit. Okay? So, regarding sa inyong, how is your technical report going? By the way, I have received some proposals here. Kanino ba to? Ah, yung proposed design ng cold storage for beef in Barangay Talipan, Pagbilao. Sige, pwede nyo na itong i-continue. Kay na Precious Valerie. Nandito ba sila ngayon? So, continue na to. Sino pang wala na magpo-propose ng topic? Okay, so please work on your technical report and problem set as well. I think I already uploaded it on the Google Classroom. Okay, so that's all. Thank you for attending this meeting.